Woo! Welcome back. Woo! Alright. I don't own the rights to that music, but I did play it off the actual YouTube channel, so hopefully no other countries get mad at me. I'll explain that later on in my disclaimer video I'm going to do right after this video. But the band that I'm going to cover does own the rights to that music. Great White. Jack Russell's Great White, that is. There's a difference between the two. I'll explain that in a minute. But welcome back. If it's a first timer for you, hey, thank you for joining us. This show is a non-political rock and roll review show, trying to spread the word of rock and roll. It's kind of been taking a little nap. We need to wake it up, get it back out there more and more and more. The live shows are great, but we still got more rocking to do, bitch. That's the show title. And the theme song goes a little something like this. We still got more rocking to do, bitch. Yeah. I like the cha at the end. I made that part up. I'm a lyrical genius, in fact. But let's get to review. All right. Great White was founded by Jack Russell and another guy. And out of respect to Jack Russell, I'm not going to mention the other guy's name because stuff happened. They're split. This review is about Jack Russell's Great White. So, out of respect to old Jack, who's now a buddy of mine, I'll explain that later on as well. I'm just going to talk about Jack Russell's review, not Great White review. It's going to be Jack Russell's Great White. So 1977 was when the band was first founded, when he was 17 years old, when Jack was 17 years old. They didn't really start making it big, though, until the mid-'80s. Talking like 85, late 85 is when they got their first album out, 86, depending on which part of the country or part of the world you're in. It was when the album came out, it was kind of at that, right at late 85, 86, but wasn't released everywhere right at first. You know how that used to be back in the day. Certain regions got stuff before other regions and this and that. In 2009, Jack Russell had a very bad fall. Broke 2 vertebrae and herniated a disc. Of course, it takes a lot of healing, surgery, different stuff you got to do for, especially when it deals with the back, takes a long time to heal. The other band members didn't want to wait for Jack. You can see right there where they're going to have an issue. So when Jack was able to go back out and do his thing, he called it Jack Russell's Great White with a different set of guys. That's why we have the 2 separations there. In 2012, once again, he was in a bad accident in a boat. It wasn't his fault. He was just one of the people on the boat. And there was a boating accident, and anytime there's going to be a boating accident, most likely it's going to be a bad boating accident. I mean, I've never heard about a boating accident and there's good results out of it. It's going to be destruction, there's going to be people getting hurt, possible drownings, just different stuff like that. But he's alive, and he recently just had back surgery this year. He didn't tell me exactly how recent it was, but just from what he was saying, it was pretty recent. I'll take his word for that. And he needed a little help getting out to the stage. But once he got out to the stage, he could still get those vocals out there just like he could in the mid-'80s. Like I said, he's a little bit older. So, of course, some of the high stuff they can't hit anymore. But that's just every musician goes through that over the years. Just because our body changes, we get a little older. We can't do 100% of what we could always do. So we just do the best we can. All right into the set list. The first 3 songs are those songs where a lot of people don't really know a whole lot unless you're diehard Great White fans. Desert Moon, Heart the Hunter, Wood and Jesus. The 4th song even isn't one of the more popular Great White tunes unless you're a huge fan, but it is a pretty good solid rock and roll tune called Mista. And then about 3/4 into the song, they bust into Beatles' Come Together. So that was kind of a little treat there for the song. And, of course, everybody in the crowd knew Come Together from the Beatles. So it was one of them songs that even got more people getting up and getting with the music. It was already a pretty good up crowd to begin with, which is really cool. Another thing I need to mention, this show was at the Golden Nugget. Once again, second show in a row I'm going to cover from the Nugget. I probably won't cover any Nugget shows for a while just because I got other stuff planned. But like I said, I love the venue. 600 seat venue, so it's nice and small. If you're sitting at the back, the musicians are still right there. And it's a great place for sound quality as well because it is a smaller venue. I love the smaller venues because it's, the sound quality is good. It's more intimate. And plus, it makes it a lot easier trying to get in and out because of parking and stuff. Because you go to those really big shows, you're going to be fighting crowds for a minute. So it's kind of nice how they have it set up there. Sorry about that. Back to the playlist. Fifth song into the set was Save Your Love, which for me is one of the big three tunes that Great White has. I mean, they have a bunch of good tunes, but there's three great ones. Save Your Love is one of them. If you don't know the song, it's like a rock ballad. Really awesome intro. The vocals are phenomenal. It's a great rock and roll song. And if you love a good rock ballad, it's really good. It can even get you emotional sometimes, depending on what you're going through in your life, especially with your significant other. So, moving on. The next couple tunes was Gone with the Wind. Didn't know that a whole lot. But then the next song they played was called Old Rose Motel, which I've heard before, but here live, they did a double guitar solo. So like the lead guitar came up, did like a nice solo, and then the rhythm guitar, the lead guitar kind of backed up, rhythm guitar guy came up, and he even soloed. So it's like he got two great guitar solos in the middle of the song. It's a really cool tune. I suggest if you can find a live version, on like YouTube, or even if you have some old capabilities and you still got some CDs. Oh man, Angus and Frank this week. Down. Halford said, F it. He said, I'm out here. I can't do it. Anyway, alrighty. So, Old Rose Motel was badass. And then we got Red Light into Shake It. And of course, when you're doing Shake It, a lot of those ladies that remember that song from the mid-'80s, of course, getting up, they were shaking it. Then they played an old cover tune called All Over Now. Song's been covered by many bands, including bands like the Stones. So that was pretty cool. And then they played Face a Day. And then the next song was Call It Rock and Roll. And then they played my favorite Great White tune, Rock Me, which is a song I introed with to this video. My favorite tune. The full version is 7-minute version. The MTV or commercial version is about 5 minutes. So they chop about 2 minutes off of greatness. And YouTube the full version. 7 minutes of your life that you'll love. Just saying. And then the last song, of course, they're going to play is their biggest hit, Once Bit, Twice Shy. Which was a cover song actually from the band Mott the Hoople, who was a band that was led by Ian Hunter, famous for tunes like All the Young Dudes. And, like I said, I remember back in the late 80s, in school parking lots, people having their cars turned up really loud. I remember in the small town I was from, people listening, I remember hearing Once Bit, Twice Shy. And then the people just outside their cars even dancing to it and stuff back in like 88, 89 maybe. And so it was good times. Fun show, like I said. But I need to conclude it with a couple pictures of me and Jack. I happened to get backstage for this show. After the show, we don't need to worry about how that happens. Let's just say the old rock Dr. Robert sometimes has a way of slipping into tight holes. Anyway, so yeah, Jack Russell, he was really cool. I asked him a couple of questions about how he's feeling, how long is he planning on doing this, and first thing he said is, I got to get better because he's still healing up from that back surgery they recently just had. So he's like, I got to get a little bit better from that. And then, he plans on going for as long as he can. With back injuries, it's always kind of iffy. You never know how it's going to work out. Plus, it takes a long time to heal. So today we lost 3 out of 9. That's 33% down. And Frank has been down every week Frank is 3 for 3 on down, and he was the one who didn't get into drugs and alcohol when in music. When you listen to his stuff, you wouldn't believe it, but he wasn't into that stuff, and he's the one who keeps falling down the most. Must be that top hat. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to stop this video. I'm going to upload the next video, or upload this video first, and then I'm going to do a disclaimer video of something that happened after last week's Guess Who video. I'll explain in the disclaimer. And be happy, be healthy. Try to do the best you can as far as helping each other out. And remember, whether it's in life or at the rock show, just remember, we still got more rockin' to do, bitch. Cha. Man, dude, you fell hard, didn't you? Bye.